Hello, you're listening to Raw's 100-hour broadcast in aid of Calm, and I'm lucky enough to be joined by Simon Gunning, the CEO of Calm. How are you doing, Simon?
I'm doing very well. How are you doing, more to the point?
Oh, we're doing okay. We're doing okay. I've recovered from my overnight shift. Luckily, I did that on Tuesday. I think the rest our overnight team from Thursday night are all in bed now. Some well earned rest.
I hope they're not missing tutorials.
I hope not as well. I think, unfortunately, a lot of doing Raw is a way to feel like you've done something productive with your day without actually going to any of your lectures. But
Yeah.
But me too. I don't advocate that sort of thing. Certainly wouldn't catch me doing that.
Of course not.
If Mum's listening.
Cool.
So just wanted to touch you a bit about what Calm's been doing at the moment. Obviously, it's been quite a big week / couple of days for Calm with Mental Health Awareness Week, and of course Monday being International Men's Day. So what have Calm kind of been doing over the last week?
Well, we sort of get dragged into those melees, really, rather than engineer our own presence within. We tend to avoid really being tied down to those external things, which in many cases don't actually mean much to people. So yes, we've been very busy, but it's much more around kind of going on panels, doing bits of telly, doing bits of radio, podcasts, and those kind of things. I just did the Professor Green podcast, who's our patron, for example, around the fact that it's International Men's Day and those kind of things. So it's nice, it's interesting. But for Calm, I think that there are other parts of the year and other parts of people's lives where we can be of greater help than joining in with, for example, Mental Health Awareness Week, which is obviously good. So we did, for example, a thing with Instagram where they were keen that we tied it to Mental Health Awareness Week, but to my mind, actually, students have rough times in their lives which are in no way related to that. So we did a thing called Gram Fam, where we put supportive content for students around Freshers Week. We're doing the same at Christmas. We'll do the same. We did the same at Results Week too. And then we'll do Cram Fam, where with Instagram and a whole load of influencers like Pro Green and like Loyal Kana and like all the people that Ramesh and Rob and all those people that join with us, will be helping people at the points in their lives which I think are difficult, as opposed to externally represented through some sort of international day.
Okay, yeah, and of course, here at Raw, obviously, sort of student mental health is definitely a very big part of what we do. There are huge problems, around particularly like exam time, and of course, like getting into university in the first place.
Yeah.
People moving away from home and that sort of thing. So there definitely is a lot that can be done there. So that's quite interesting. So that's a lot of work that's been going on over the last kind of few weeks and months. Maybe like not so much tied to these kind of outside things. But what would you say is kind of the thing you've been most proud of doing in your time at Calm?
Well, we've grown immeasurably, and I think that we've grown certainly in terms of revenue, and in terms of appeal, I think is probably the most important one. So Calm exists because it is a male suicide prevention charity, and that's that's limiting for a lot of people. It has a hugely important role to play, and we run a helpline from 5 to midnight, 7 days a week, which is free to call and staffed by paid professionals who give interventionist advice to help people avoid suicide and seek a happier life. And it really, really works. So in the last year, we've grown demand for that helpline 100%. So we're now up to 15,000 contacts a month. And we run an internal measurement, which we call Suicides Prevented, which is people who call us with the intention to die on the phone or shortly afterwards and who don't. And we're now running just shy of 2 suicides prevented a day. So without doubt, that combination of increased appeal and awareness has led to massively higher use of the helpline. And that certainly makes me feel that we're doing something right. We're saving people's lives actively every day. But the bubble around that, I think, is something which has become really interesting and is something that I feel pretty excited about, which is that Calm has managed to transcend that male suicide prevention charity status to mean something much broader than that for much larger numbers of people. So there's something about the name, the Campaign Against Living Miserably, which people feel reflects a different view of society and a different view of the way that we can relate to each other. I believe that humans are fundamentally kind and that humans fundamentally want to look after each other. And our messaging says that we are all able and can be incentivized to strive for a happier life, to not accept a miserable life. And in doing so, delivering those broader messages, actually what we're finding is very much equal numbers of male and female people are picking up the banner and the badge and wearing it proudly and saying that they're a part of the campaign against living miserably, which is reflected in the huge amounts of things that people do, such as yourself, such as what you've been doing for us in raising money. But I'm hoping that also in doing that, you're finding that that's making everybody involved feel pretty good, that saying, I reject the kind of self-centeredness that seems to be reflected in society so much, in wearing that calm badge and shouting about calm, shouting about the terrible statistics around suicide and saying, I'm not going to allow that to happen to me or to my mates or to my girlfriend, boyfriend, mum, dad, son, daughter, teammate, colleague. I'm not going to allow that to happen. I'm going to reflect the values of calm and I'm going to campaign against living miserably. That makes me feel pretty proud.
Absolutely. Just a perspective from us, we made a video over the course of this week, which was male members of the Raw team kind of talking about the issues of things like mental health stigma, the kind of, sort of stiff upper lip attitude and kind of what's wrong with that. But it's not just been the male members of the team. When we were talking about working with Calm, there were a couple of things pushed around, not concerns, but just sort of, it's anti-male suicide charity, is there representation for females or other people as well? But I think, actually, there's Calm is a much broader campaign. We sort of discovered from looking through everything that you guys do is a much broader campaign about kind of mindsets, about lifestyles, and just, as you said, kind of about speaking out when you think someone is in trouble. So it's been really eye-opening, and there's been a lot of really great stuff over the 100 hours of female panelists talking about talking about male mental health and vice versa, and different attitudes towards it. And it's been really, really productive, I think, on the whole, just from a kind of societal point of view.
No, I was going to say that's brilliant. I think that male suicide is a horror. There are 12 every day in the UK, and there is something poisonously wrong in our society that means that so many young men decide that death is better than life. But that in itself is an issue which affects all of us. It affects men and women equally. We come back again and again to our boys, our dads, our husbands, etc. But that issue is massively galvanising, but the solution is hugely broad. The solution is about us all, male and female, striving for a life less miserable. As far as our plans are concerned, it's just growing in an incredible way. We did a thing back in April with ITV, and specifically this morning, the morning television programme called Project 84, where we put 84 statues of men who had died by suicide, which were made by bereaved families, and that just exploded everything for us. So the most tangible result of that, as well as the huge growth that Calm experienced, was the appointment of Jackie Doyle-Price as the world's first Minister for Suicide Prevention. And she looks equally at men and women, and whatever we may think of the current government, whatever we may think about Jackie Doyle-Price and what her motivation is in that role, that can't be unwritten now. We have that in our governmental system. We have suicide prevention as a thing. No one else in the world has that. So that's really good. So we're going to grow on that achievement in 2019 and hold the government and the minister to account. We're in the Department of Health, Department of Justice and Number 10 all the time doing exactly that. But as far as Calm is concerned and our SOLAS activity, you're going to see massive brand partnerships, because there are so many organisations which are seeing exactly the kind of stuff that you've seen, and you've done this brilliant job with your marathon broadcast, and are saying we really need to do something about this. So there's Harry's Grooming, who did 84 with us. There's Topshop and Topman who've done stuff with us. Tesco are doing a double-necked Christmas jumper, ladies and gentlemen, this Christmas for Calm. But it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and you'll see huge media partnerships. You'll see partnerships with very, very big sporting entities as well. And really our message remains core, that communicating, spending time with like-minded people, getting out, running around, doing sport, doing comedy, doing cultural things is really, really great. And as we drive our revenue up we can provide more and more frontline services for people who really need us, either at a point of crisis or to avoid that point of crisis.
That's absolutely fantastic, and you'll have the full backing, I'm sure, of not just Raw, but everyone at Warwick University, and probably across the country in doing that. Simon Gunning, thank you so much for speaking to us today.
Not at all. Thanks very much for having me, and thank you for everything that you've done.